Sports. Hey guys, it's Claus. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, I just got off the phone with my parents. They're doing pretty good. Some of you who've been around for a while know that, yeah, they just moved and I was back there helping them move. They did the big move, guys. It's a big thing when you get older. They're getting on in age, and they lived in this beautiful house, a big corner lot with a huge garden, and grass and trees, and now they're in a condo, because Mom is a little bit shaky doing stairs, and Dad's still jumping around like a jackrabbit, but he's getting a little older too, so. And they're doing okay. I just talked to them, and they're in their new condo that I went out there and helped them move and get it ready and painting and everything. And it's good to hear they're enjoying it, the new lifestyle. Yeah, the new lifestyle. It's funny, because I wish they would have moved earlier. It like my dad says, it's because of Mom that we're moving, because she got to be careful on the stairs. I don't want her falling, and she's having trouble. But he's he's the kind of guy that just acts as if what's the big deal? There's no problem, even when there are a few problems or struggles. He doesn't perceive it as a struggle, anything. They lived in this big corner lot, and he had to do all the work, the cutting the grass and the cutting the grass. It's like a half acre that he has. So he's like 75, 76 years old. And he's out there cutting the grass 4 times a week because it grows like a freaking weed, because that's what, grass is, a weed. And he's out there. He's got the old lawnmower that he bought in 1962. But he's kept care of it. He knows that if you it's simple. It's just a motor. It goes around. You just have to replace the spark plug. What's wrong with you? I don't need a new one. And I'm telling him, I'm watching him out there struggling, pushing that thing and sweating and I said, there's new ones now. I'll buy you a self-propelled lawnmower. What do you mean propelled? I need a lawnmower that's going to propel it. I'll propel it. I'm the propeller. What's the matter with you? You can't cut the grass unless it's self-propelled? You idiot. So he's just out there doing it himself, right? And by the end, it was so much of a chore. It would he'd start in the morning and do patches and take breaks because it was so difficult to do. But they moved now, and they don't have to worry about that shit, right? Because they're in a condo. But another, there was signs before they moved. They moved just recently, but even before Mom was struggling with the stairs, we had a scare. It was about 3 years ago or so, because he's got to shovel the driveway in the house, right? And it's a big freaking double dry long, and he lives in Ontario where the snow's wet and heavy. And this is a funny story. So he's out there shoveling the snow because it's snowing and it's piling up, and he's looking out the window because when you're old, you got nothing to do but just see what's going on and wonder what you're going to do about it. So it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's snowing. It's still snowing, and there's about 3 or 4 inches on the ground. He's going, fuck! If I don't clean it now, there's going to be more later. It'll be harder. And so they can't just relax and say, well, when it stops, he's got to get out there and do the first pass. So he's out there and he's shoveling. It's really heavy, wet snow, and he's finding it. He's getting shortness of breath, and it's hard. He's doing a piece, then he's like, I can't breathe. And I wasn't there. I'm living in a different city. Let's put it in context. He's out there and he can't breathe. He shovels another 4 or 5 square feet, and and he's getting shortness of breath, and his chest is a little tight, and he's feeling like he's 76, he's shoveling, doing exerting work, shoveling the snow, and has shortness of breath, his chest, why do I say that? His chest is feeling tight, and he's got a little bit of a pain in his left arm, right? So what's going on? He's got the symptoms. He could be having some sort of a heart attack, right? So what does he do? He goes in the house and takes, rests for a few minutes, and goes into the living room, grabs a chair, and brings the chair out onto the driveway and puts the chair down in the driveway. Why, do you ask? Why did he not go in and say, hey, I I'm feeling I might be having a heart attack. Call 911. No, that's not. What do you mean? Heart attack? Are you nuts? I got to get the driveway done. So he gets the chair and he puts it on the driveway. And that way, you see, he can shovel another 3 or 4 square feet. And then when he starts experiencing the shortness of breath, he can sit down and rest for a couple of minutes till he feels okay. And then he can continue. So he does this and he manages to clear like 3/4 of the driveway. But it's not, he's like having to rest every few minutes. And then he realizes, oh boy, there might be something wrong. What do I do? Well, okay. He goes inside and he tells my mother, I'm gonna go to the hospital and see. I don't know. I'm feeling a little strange. I can't breathe. My chest is hurting. My left arm. I can't shovel the driveway. I brought the chair out there. I was resting, but I still could. But okay, she says, all right. We'll see you when you get home. It's like no big deal. And gets in the car and drives to the hospital. Drives himself to the hospital by himself, and it's snowing. It's a blizzard, really. And gets to the Emerge and finds out that it's $18 parking to park at the Emerge. So, fuck that. What? $18? My chest hurts. I can barely breathe. You want me to pay $18? Well, in reverse. Let me reverse. There's people behind. Honk, honk. He's backing up. I'm not going. I'm paying $18. Back up, do a 3-point turn around, drive out of the hospital, across the major road into a neighborhood, go 3-4 blocks down and find the spot. Yeah, I'll just park here. Right? Let me switch to my perspective now, because after being admitted into the hospital, they did a couple of, I don't know what test they do, blood or this or that. And within about 2 or 3 minutes, they realized, you've had a heart attack. We want you to. They immediately had him hooked up, and they had stuff in his veins, and realized you have a 98% blockage in one of the vessels in your heart, and we determined that we need to install a stent. You've suffered a heart attack, and blah blah blah. But as he's telling me the story happily in the hospital after the procedure, it all went okay, so we could kid about it. So I'm asking him, obviously concerned, and I'm sitting there going, why the hell did you keep shoveling the driveway? Why didn't you just call 911? He goes, well, how the hell am I supposed to back the car out and go if the driveway's not? I could have got stuck. I had to shovel the driveway before I drove to the hospital. I'm asking him, so what do you mean you wouldn't pay the $18 to go park? I wouldn't pay the $18. Well, they wanted a credit card. How do I know they're going to take $18? They could have charged me anything. So where did you park? Well, I drove across. You go across the main road there, 2 or 3 blocks down. There's a neighborhood. I went in a couple of streets and I parked. It's free parking. So then what did you do? Well, I started walking to the hospital, and I had to rest every couple of 20 feet or so because I was just having trouble breathing. But I rested in a snowbank for a few minutes, and I crossed the guy parks like 1.5 miles from the freaking hospital, and struggles his way in a blizzard, and then he's on. He has to phone my sister. You have to go get the truck because I left it. It's parked in the neighborhood. You go down the main road, cross. You go 3 blocks, then I think you turn right at the big white house, and then left. It's a shit show. But he gets the stent put in, and he's on blood thinners and this and that, and I fly out immediately, right? Wondering if my dad's in the hospital. He just had a heart attack, and by the time I get there, they've done the procedure already. And I said, "What the hell's going on?" What are you talking? It's nothing. They said it was a small heart attack. They put in this thing called the stent, and now everything's fine. And okay, so, and within about 3 or 4 months, because then after that, I started going visiting 2 or 3 times a year. Or 2 times a year, I'm not exaggerating, like to see them, right? 3 times a year. It's like 4 months later, I go visit, and we're going to have dinner, and they've got this amazing asparagus that they cooked. It just tasted fantastic. And he says, yeah, heart attack. I don't really think it was a heart attack because I feel fine. And he's denying that I didn't have, it was small. Whatever I had was small. And we're eating the asparagus, talking about it. I go, these are fantastic asparagus. Where the hell did you get these? He goes, well, I got my secret spot to go get asparagus. And you got to understand that that generation, they're scavengers. they like to scavenge for food. They don't like to buy food in the store if they could find it somewhere for free, right? So he's found these asparagus growing somewhere. And I was kind of interested. He goes, yeah, it's not as far as where I get my mushrooms, but the mushrooms, you got to drive like 50 miles into the country, into this. He's got the directions. You go, and then you get to the big farm with the 2 big trees, and then you turn left, and you go down this dirt road and down a ravine, and then you park, and then you hike 1.5 miles into the forest, and by the huge fallen tree and the stump is where you get the good mushrooms. You know, he's out there, 76 years old on his own, tromping through the woods looking for the mushrooms. But anyways, I said, so where the hell do you get these asparagus? And he says, well, I'll show you. We'll go tomorrow. We got to get some more because, you know, they're coming up. They come up in the spring. And I go, okay. And it's just here in the neighborhood. So the next day, you know, we have breakfast and stuff. And show me where those asparagus are. He goes, okay. And we go in the garage and he gets the bicycle out. I go, what? Can't we just drive there and get the asparagus? No, you can't drive. Here, he's got an old bicycle, and he's got an old 10-speed that he uses. So we get on the bikes, and we start riding. We ride about 10 kilometers from the house to the edge of, he's on the edge of the city of Toronto, and in the country. And the subdivision stuff stops, and you go through this construction thing, and then to the road's end, and then it's just this kind of like a track that goes down into this forested area where there's we start like we're mountain biking. I'm thinking, holy shit! I didn't bring a helmet. You know, I have my running shoes. He's in sandals, and we're mountain biking down this one-track trail. And he's zipping along there. You know, he used to be a cyclist. He used to race, and so we're going along. And we get to the edge of this, like the path ends, and it's just a bush. And I'm going, what the hell's going on? Oh, just down there. And there's a raging river down there. They call it a creek. My dad calls it a creek, but to me it looked like this river. And okay, we just have to climb down there, and we cross the river, and up the side there is on the embankment is where all the asparagus grow. Like, are you nuts? And he's scampering down there. I follow him. We get to the river, and I realize that's why he's wearing the sandals. He's got the sandals off. He's holding his scurries across. Meanwhile, I'm in my running shoes. He's got the jeans pulled up to his knees so he doesn't get wet. We go across this river. I'm soaked, wet socks and shoes. He slips the sandals back on, and we're going up the steep embankment on the other side, and apparently that's the perfect spot for where the asparagus grow. And he starts they're in the grass. There's these, you see the little tips, and he starts picking them and putting them in his little bag. And I'm going, I don't see that. He's showing me, okay, this is an asparagus, this is okay. And I finally, yeah, I could see them. I could see them. I picked a couple. You know, he had picked like a full bag full, and I picked a couple, and then he was circling around trying to get them all, and he got to the spot where I had picked 4 or 5, and he noticed that someone's been here. These have been picked. And I go, no, I picked those. No, someone's found my asparagus spot. Someone's been following me, and now they know where they are. Huh? So he's like upset because maybe someone spied on him and found the secret spot where he gets the asparagus, and now everyone will know, and he won't be able to get him because his mushroom spot he's kept secret for 24 years. And he could, you know, go there and always find the shrooms. So we load up on the asparagus. We cross the river again. We riding the one track up 10 kilometers back. Right? I'm exhausted. You gotta. You know, I want to sit down on the porch and have a beer. And he's cleaning the asparagus and running around like a 22-year-old. 78. Doing that, and so he's doing okay. But the new place and the condo is very close. He just has to ride an extra 5 or 6 miles to get to the asparagus spot. The mushroom spot is on the way still. He drives there. He assures me that he could find his way out of the forest, no problem. And I said, well, what if you fall and hurt yourself when you're rummaging around there in the woods finding the mushrooms and you trip on a branch? And he goes, I'll be fine. They'll find me. I could survive on roots and things. So it's all a different perspective, guys. You know, if you have the mindset that nothing can stop you, and you know, that fuck all the negativity, and you just want to do whatever you can as much as you can, then you're gonna be a happy guy, like my dad. And if you're worried about everything, and I'm wearing the socks, I can't cross the river. What if I eat those and they've got bugs, and they're gonna be the wrong mushrooms? And if you're worried about everything, then I guess what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that they're doing pretty good in their condo, and there's no stairs. And my mom's going to the fitness center every day. Can you believe it? Late 70s, and she's on the rowing machine. She's doing the rowing machine because she thought, I might as well get in shape. And Dad's out there, the mushrooms, and there's lots of other kinds of vegetables and roots and funny dandelion weeds and things that they cultivate. As long as it's free and you don't have to buy it at the store, and it's better for you because there's no pesticides or strange chemicals going into those asparagus. I'll tell you that much. Is what you know what I'm saying? So it's all good. Everything's good, and I had a great. I'm going back for Thanksgiving. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna cook them a ham. They've never had ham because who the fuck eats ham? You eat turkey. They've got to branch out, do new things, experience new things. I'm going to try to convince them to come on a cruise with me because they're old. I don't want to go anywhere with them where I have to hang around with them all day. We'll go on a cruise so that they can stay on the boat and drink and relax, and I'll go see things and quality time. So they're doing great, and those were the 2 first games I had in my T10. I told you guys I always show you the first couple of games I have in any new tank that I get. So there you were. I lost the post-game stats, but I don't give a fuck.